In my book, Part A, I've got a visualization section. But with these videos, I've combined both the visualization and learning the scale together. So you can visualize the scale first, and then it will make it easier for you when it comes to learning it. So this is easy. There's no black notes, it's just the white notes. And you know where C is on your keyboard, and that's where the scale is going to start, okay? Easy. So the right hand finger placement, we have a diagram, and let me explain this diagram. These finger placements for your right hand works for C, G, D, A, and E, but we're just going to look at C today. First thing I want you to take note of, have a look at the diagram. So we go from follow the arrows, right? The first row of hands is going up the scale. So that's the second hand. Now that's the third hand, and this is the last hand on the right. And then coming down, this is the last hand on the bottom row right. Then the third from bottom right, and then coming down. So just follow the arrows. That's straightforward. Okay, I want you to note, have a look at the first hand, top left. Can you see the ring? The middle finger says middle, and it's got we call that a swing point, a little arrow, and the 3. The 3 is the interval. It's not the finger number. I know it lines up with traditional finger numbers in this particular case, but it's not the finger number. It's the interval 3, which happens to be the note E, okay? So this is the first adjustment that if you've come from a traditional background with the Akousunesis method, you have to adjust. So you're just gonna practice, and you're just gonna say thumb, index, middle, ring, pinky, ring, middle. Okay. So I want you to note on the first top diagram. So we're just going to call these 1, 2, 3, 4, top row, 5, 6, coming back down, following arrows, 5, 6, 7, 8. So you're going to see middle on the first diagram. On the second, you're going to see ring, and then the third diagram is middle. Right, the third hand, I should say, is middle. So we've got middle, ring, middle. Now you see on the bottom, it's highlighted middle, ring, middle. These are the key elements you got to remember to learn this. Now let me explain further. Let me put the right hand down, okay? You can see. So we're just going to play this scale for now, just straight going up, all right? And we're going to go 2 octaves, okay? We're going to go 2 octaves. Now, I'm not going to tell you how to sit and how to place your hands, because there's a million videos on those, okay? I'm just teaching you something new that most likely you've never seen before, okay? In the next few pages. Hold your horses. Okay, so 1, 2, 3. So have a look here. We call this, in this method, a swing point, because have a look what happens. We're swinging on the third. Now, you need to know and remember which hand, when you go up the scale, right, you need to know which finger to stop on and to swing, right, which happens to be the middle finger, because we can keep on going to the pinky, right, then there's nowhere to go, right, and you won't swing on a pinky, that's extremely awkward, right. So we swing on the middle finger, right, going up. So then we bring our thumb underneath and we line up our hands, right, all the other notes, and we keep on going. And then when we hit the ring finger, so middle ring, we swing again. Because we can keep on going, we need to remember that we're going to stop there, right? And we swing and we land, and now we remember the middle again. We remember we're going to swing again, middle, and then we swing, put our thumb, and just complete the scale right up to the end and come back. Now, when we're coming back, right, we're going to remember, okay, have a look at the bottom diagrams. Can you see the middle finger now on the third diagram, bottom right, okay, is your middle. And then it goes to, which is the interval 3. Then it goes to the ring finger, which is the 7, and then back to the 3. Now, this is an easy scale to remember, okay? However, the approach and the technique to remember this is the most important, because they're going to get harder, the scales, right? And by focusing on this method to remember it, it's going to be much easier for you to remember the scale with both hands and then bring them together, okay? So you've probably never seen this, talk about this before. I've never seen it anyway. Maybe someone's ever mentioned the way you do this, but here we go. So middle, right? We're swinging. We need to remember that because we could keep on going and we need to know to stop. So middle, ring, middle, ring. Okay, coming down, middle, ring, middle, and back. Okay, so that's the idea. And throughout all our learning our scales, we're going to have either middle, ring, or ring, middle, ring. Okay, it's either going to be one or the other on all the scales and all the different hand positions. Okay, these positions only cover these notes here. So all right, so let's continue. So the left hand, we have middle, ring, middle. Let's look at the left hand. Now, I didn't mention the formula on the top, but let's have a look at that. So it just means pinky 1, right? Pinky 1, ring 2, middle 3, index 4, thumb 5. Then it's got M6. M6 means middle to the 6th interval, right? Now, there's nowhere else, right? You're swinging on the thumb, but you need to know where to land on now. When we're going up, we call that the 6 on your middle finger. So we go up to the 5, we swing on the 5, but we don't need to remember that we swing on the 5 because we've run out of fingers, right? What we need to know is the landing point, okay? So the landing point could be a 4th finger, which is a little awkward, but it could be a 2nd finger, that's used often. But with our scale here, we're landing on our middle finger. Now, you noticed I said 1st finger and 2nd and 3rd. That's because I came from a traditional background. So ignore that. and we've got to practice saying. So we're going to swing on the thumb, but we're going to land on the middle finger. Now we're going to go all the way to the thumb. Okay. Now there's nowhere else to go, but we have to know where to land on when we move our hand over. And it's going to be ring. And then again, it's going to be the middle. And we just finish the scale. Now coming back, we need to know the swing points. So going up the scale, it's the landing points, right? Coming down, it's the swing points. The swing points have the little arrow under them, and the landing points don't. I want you just to notice going up, have a look, it's 1, 6, 2, 6. Coming back, it's 6, 2, 6, right? And coming back. So they're the same fingers. Same intervals and fingers we swing on going up and down, right? So that's interesting to note. So coming down, excuse me. So coming down, middle, ring, middle, okay? Middle, ring, middle, going up. Middle, ring, middle, to the end, coming back. We've got to know now where we swing. It's middle, ring, middle, ring. Sorry, middle, ring, middle. That's it. And we end. Okay, so practice that. Right hand, middle, ring, middle, middle, ring, middle, back. And I want you to say that too. Middle, ring, middle. So when we're coming down, right? So when we're coming down, middle. So we're saying middle almost straight away when we're rolling back on the left hand. Middle, ring, middle. So that's what we have to remember when we're going up. Middle, ring, middle, and middle again. Ring, middle, and back. Okay. Okay, that's the first thing we're going to be looking at. We're going to be looking at how to visualize it. First thing you're going to note on this diagram that the white notes and the black notes are the notes of the G major scale, and the greyed out notes are notes we don't press. You're also going to notice that the diagram doesn't show the first note of the scale. We're showing the diagram of a way to visualize it. We know it starts on G, it doesn't start on F sharp, right? So it starts on G. But the concept here is to bring different memory associations together, which helps you memorize. Now, this works with anything you want to memorize. If you can associate something with something else, it helps your memory. Okay, so the first thing we're going to note here uses all the white notes. So it uses all the white notes except the note F, so it doesn't use F, right? So you can remember that it just doesn't use F. You can remember also that of group 2, right, it uses the leftmost black note, right, F sharp, right? And because it's a major scale, because we're going around the circle of fifths and we're sharpening, right? Remember from the previous lesson, I think it was lesson 3 or 2, we had a look at the circle of fifths, and we were sharpening as we go all the way, okay? So if we're sharpening, we're not pressing so F sharp, we're not pressing the white note on the left. That's another thing to remember. When we're sharpening, we don't press the left white note, we press the black note. And the opposite with flats, right? With a flat, we're flattening the white note. We don't press the white note on the right. When we're flattening, when we're sharpening, we don't press the white note on the left. That's another memory association you can make. The key of G has only one black note, as we said, the leftmost black note of group 2. It's quite an easy key to visualize, okay? So we're going to utilize, the very helpful, this visualization, just before we start to learn it, because now you're really sort of remembering. You got ways to remember your scale. Right hand finger placement for the key of G. It's just interesting to note here that this hand placement is for the same placement for C, G, D, A and E. We're just looking at G at the moment. Okay, looking at this diagram, the first thing I want you to realise is the top row of 4 hands is moving up the keyboard. We just follow the arrows, and then so we're moving up the 2 octaves. The first 2 hands are first 2 octaves, second 2 hands are second octave, first octave second. Coming back down, the bottom row on the right 2 hands is the high octave, and on the low 2 hands is the lower octave. Okay, I want you to take note of the middle finger on, so we're at top left diagram, middle finger, so let's put our hand on the G. So we have the middle finger on the 3rd interval. Now we call that a swivel point. That little arrow underneath indicates we're swiveling on that finger, right? Now we have to remember the swivel points when we're going up. So it's going to be middle, ring and middle again, because they're the only things we have to remember, because if we start playing, starting on G, and we forget that finger, we get to the 5. We can't go any further than the 5. You know, we've run out of fingers. So we need to remember where to swing, and it happens to be the middle. So we swing, bring our thumb under, line our fingers up, and keep on going up. Now we have to remember where to swing again, but we're up here on the F sharp. Okay, and that's the ring finger, because we can go all the way to the 5th finger, right? So we're remembering the swivel points going up. So middle, ring, middle, and then we just continue going up and roll back down. Coming back down, we have to remember the landing points. And again, it's going to be middle, ring and middle. So look at the bottom row, second hand from the right, number 3, 7, and then goes 3, 7, 3, which are the intervals, not the finger numbers. So the middle, then the ring finger, then the middle. So we're coming back down, we're on G, okay? So we come back down to the thumb. Now we've got to know we're going to swing over, right, on that middle. So we go middle, and then the ring, and then the middle. Okay? You get the concept? So we remember middle, ring, middle going up, and they're the swing intervals, 3, 7, and 3. Coming down, it's the landing intervals. Again, it's going to be 3, 7, and 3, and it's going to be middle, ring, and middle coming down. Okay? So that's the right hand. I'll go through it one more time, and this is what you're going to have to practice. You can go slowly, and you can accentuate the note too to get it in your memory. Middle, ring, middle, middle, oh, ring, middle. Okay? So the reason we go slowly here is we're not trying to commit this in muscle memory. In actual fact, we're trying to make sure we know this before muscle memory kicks in. So we have tools to remember it, remember what we're doing, so we understand. We'll get to the muscle memory in a second, but we go very slowly to make sure we understand the concept. Now with the left hand, again, this finger placement will cover key signatures C, G, D, A and E, but we're just looking at G at the moment. So with this diagram again, with the left hand, on the first row we're going up 2 octaves. On the bottom row of hands we're coming down. Just follow the arrows. Now the key things to note about this is the landing point. When we're going up, we're interested in landing points. We're going to remember the landing point 6 to 6. And when we're coming down, we're going to remember the swivel points 6 to 6, okay? And I'll show you on the keyboard what that all means. So let's put our hand on G. So I think we can still see down here. We'll start down here. So you can see when we're starting to go up the key, we reach the 5th. Now we run out of fingers, we can't go anywhere else with this. So what we need to remember is when we swivel over, which is on the 5, we don't need to remember that swivel because we've run out of fingers. Obviously we're going to swivel. But what we do got to remember, we've got to remember where we're going to land. Now we could land on the 3rd, the 4th, the 2nd, right? But in this case we're going to land with a middle finger and it will be the 6th interval, right? There's a 5th, there's a 6th. So we'll go middle, right? Then we F sharp here, we're on the F sharp, so middle. Now we're going to swivel again. Once we've hit our thumb, we're going to swivel again, right, on the ring finger, right, which will be the interval 2, right? So we're going to go, so we ring, we've done the swivel, so we're on the top 3rd diagram. And then once we hit our thumb again, we need to know where to land, and we're going to land on the middle, on the 6. There's a 6. And then we just roll back. And when we're coming back, so we're still on the left hand, when we come back, we've got to know we're going to swivel now on the middle finger. So the bottom row, the very right picture, we're rolling back. The middle finger now is where we're swiveling because we could keep on going, right? So we need to remember that, where the finger now, where we're going to swivel, land on our thumb. Now we can go all the way down to the ring. We've got to know that we're going to swivel on the ring. So we've got to remember middle, then the ring. There, you see that? We're swiveling now on the ring. So we're going to put our thumb down. Then we're going to swivel on that middle again and come back and just roll back till we hit the G. So going up, we're going to go middle, accentuate it 2 a little bit, right? Right, so try that again. Now the ring, right? So middle ring. See how they come pretty quickly? And always go this slow. Don't go too fast, okay? Middle. Ring. Middle. Right, so we've hit the top. Now we're coming back. So we're going to be, the middle ring is going to become fast. Swivel, middle. Ring, swivel on the ring. Middle, swivel. Middle. Oh, sorry, we made a mistake. Middle. Ring. Middle. Middle. Ring. Middle. Now this is harder to remember. Now the reason is we're going slowly with this is so we're not going to be relying on muscle memory when we're learning this. We will learn it with muscle memory, but we want to make sure that we get in our head the finger placements, because the left hand's trickier, and it's just going to get trickier once we get on to the B flat and the other keys. So if we do it this way very slowly, and then then we'll bring our hands together. But we'll do it slowly again. Middle, ring, middle, middle, ring, middle, and roll back. Okay? So middle ring, and we have the formula there, P1. Right, first interval, second interval is the ring, third is the middle, index is the fourth, fifth is the thumb, and then we're on middle again, right? On the 6, right? And then we have the 7, I7, and back to the 1, T1. Okay, let's start now with a visualisation. Shush. He wants to get right into the act here. Let's start with a visualisation first. So straight away I can see 2 groups there. We've got group 1 and group 2. The first thing it stands out to me is the black notes is the first black note of each group, 1 and 2. Now you can see that we don't, the way we visualise it isn't the way we play it. So we start on D when we're playing the scale, but when we're visualising it, we want to be able to find the notes quickly when we're playing. So by creating different memory associations, we can find our scale much easier. So the first white note of each group, we don't play. And remember, because we're sharpening, we're going around the circle of fifths, and we're sharpening, we don't play the note on the left. So also you note that the key of D has 2 sharp notes. That's another memory association. You also remember that the previous key G had F sharp, right? So if by remembering the order, right, that also helps around the circle of fifths. So we gain a new sharp, which was the -7th, and we turn it into a 7th, and that's that C sharp there. The C sharp is just before the D because it's a 7. All major scales have a 7, remember? So it's going to be a semitone to the root of this scale, which the root is D. So that's it for the visualization. So right-hand finger placement. So this right-hand finger placement here works for C, G, D, A, E, and also B, and we're just looking at the D. So the top row is the right hand going up 2 octaves. The bottom row is the right hand coming down 2 octaves. Just follow the arrows from top left to right, then bottom right to left. Okay. And when we're going up, we can read the formula T1, I2, M3 going upwards. And when coming down, we can read it the other way, P1, R7, M6. Okay. First thing to note is the swing points rising, right? The middle ring, middle swing points rising, which are on the intervals 3, 7, and 3. And the landing points, 3, 7, 3 intervals, is again the middle ring and middle. So let's see how that works. So we get our right hand and we put that thumb, right, T1, on the D, okay? First thing we're going to do is go to the third finger. And now we need to remember that middle swing point. The reason we need to remember that is because we can keep on going, right? So we need to know to stop. Then we swing to our thumb, and then we have to remember our ring after that. Now when we stop on the ring, because we can keep on going, right? But we're going to stop. And we're going to swivel on that. And then we're going to remember our middle again. And we're going to stop. And then we're going to swing again on the middle. Thumb. And just finish up the scale. Coming back, right, we're going to remember the landing points. Middle, right? Then the ring. Then the middle again. And then we're finished. Okay? And I don't want you to go too faster than this. It's a good speed, right? So that's the right hand, okay? So let's do it one more time. And this is how I want you to practice it. Middle, ring, middle, coming back. middle, ring, middle. Okay, so you can see coming back, right, it goes all the way to the thumb. Then we're going to swing on the thumb, we're going to land on the middle, comes to the thumb, now we're going to swing again, we're going to be on the ring, to the thumb, swing one more time to the back to the middle, right, F sharp there, which is our third interval, and back, okay, so that's the right hand. So the left hand, the same applies, going up, top row, coming down the bottom row. Formula again from left to right. So going up, we read at P1, R2. This time, as we rise, we're going to note the middle ring, middle landing points. And coming down, it's going to be the swing points. So if you look, let's have a look at that. So we put our pinky on the 1 interval, right, which is the D. We're going to go all the way to the thumb. Right, we know we're going to swivel on the thumb, but it's that's we don't need to remember that. But we need to remember which finger we're going to land on, because we could land on the 4, the 3, we could do a 2, but it's going to be the middle. So we're going to come all the way to the thumb, middle, and then we're going to swivel again. But we don't need to remember that because we're on our thumb. There's nowhere else to go. But we're going to remember where to land. Remember, it was middle ring. We're going to land on that ring. All the way back to the thumb. Now we're going to swivel again and land on the middle. Finish up the skull. Coming back, middle, right, is our swing points. So not the landing points now, it's the swing point. Middle, swing. Ring, swing. Middle, swing. And then just roll back. Okay? So I'm going to do it one more time. Middle. So it's, sorry, so we're going up at our left hand. There's no middle there, right? Our first middle is going to be where we land. Here, middle. Ring. Middle, finish up. Middle. Ring. Middle, finish up. Okay? Okay, so we're going to visualize, do the visualization first. So one of the main things you can remember with when you're going around is that A has 3, right, major scales, right? Sorry, 3 sharp notes, right? 3 black notes. All right, so from the previous key, right, we visualized the D, right, which we came across, we had the F sharp and the C sharp, right? So we have the same notes here, but we've just added one more, right? So, all right. So the black notes are on the left side of each group. So you got group 1 and 2. Notice black notes are on the left, right? Means, right, because we're sharpening and we've got the black here, it means we don't play the white note just directly to the left of that black note. We don't play that. When we're going around the circle of fifths in the other direction with the flats, right, B flat, we don't play the white note on the right. In the sharps, we don't play the white note on the left. That's something good to remember. So when you're improvising, you can have that in your mind just in case you don't accidentally, press that note if you don't want that note. So the newly added note is in group 2, is the major 7th. So you can always the new note is going to be that major 7th there, right? From the previous key, the key of D, we flatten that. This now is all the notes in the key of D. See, that's in the key of D now. And when we go up 5 to our A, 1, 2, and then we play it, right? That would have been D, but we have to take that -7 and make it a major, right? So we've covered all that in lesson 3. Lesson 3, we covered all that. So you should know how now to make all your scales. So we're just teaching you how to actually play them with our fingers now. Okay, again, so if you've seen this, the first 3 videos on this series, it's all going to be pretty similar until we get to B, where the right hand is the same as this, but the left's a bit different. And then the flat keys, they're different. Not all of them. Some are the same finger positions, then some are different. So we're going to go through all those as well when we get there. All right, so the top row there, we're going up again, up the scale 2 octaves, and we just follow the arrows. And then when we're coming back, we're coming down the octave, down the scale 2 octaves. Okay. When we're going up, we can read the formula T1, I2, M3, T4. Right. So that's our finger placements. And coming down, we read that backwards. P1, R7, M6 coming backwards. Now, again, the first thing we want to note is the middle, ring, and middle. So when we're going up, we're swiveling. I'll swing. I'm going to say swiveling. I'll say swing. There's swing points. Coming down, we note the landing points, and we always have the 3-7-3, middle, ring, middle, and coming back is a 3-7-3, middle, ring, middle again. All right, so let's start. So let's have a look at A. Just below middle C, we'll put our thumb down there. So that's 1, T1, that's I2, M3, okay? Then we swing. So we've got to remember this swing point because we can keep on going. We need to remember where we're going to stop. So we've put our focus on these middle, ring, and middle. Middle. So then we swing over. Right. Ring now. We've got to remember to swing on the ring, land on our thumb. Then middle, swing on the middle, and then we finish up the scale. And coming down, we come all the way to the thumb, then we go middle, then ring, then middle, then back. And that's the easiest way to remember it. Middle, ring, middle, and we go all the way to the thumb, middle, ring, middle, and back. Okay, so that's going up the scale. Coming down the scale, we went up and down. Okay, I mean the left hand now. Let's move on. Now for the left hand finger placement. Okay, so again, the top row is going up, the bottom row is coming down the scale. Right, going up, we're reading the formula P1R2 from left to right. Coming down, we're reading it from right to left. We put our left pinky on the 1, right, and we go all the way to the thumb, and then the first landing point will be the middle. Middle, ring, middle, and coming down, right, now we're swinging on the middle, swinging on the ring, swinging on the middle, come down. So going up, middle, ring, middle, middle, ring, middle, and come back down. Okay, so the first thing you can note here, we got what you want to do is remember, the first thing you want to remember is the order of the black notes when we go around the circle of fifths. And we know that the previous A had 3 blacks. E has 4 blacks. So that's the first thing you want to remember. E has 4 blacks. A has 3 blacks. D has 2 blacks, and so forth. Well, G has 1 black. C has got no blacks. Right? And B has got 5 blacks. So that order to remember is important, right? And you want to remember the order. So you want to go C, G, D, A, E, and B, okay? Because they just build up one black note. So we've got four black notes here. Now, you'll see group 1 and group 2. They're the 2 leftmost black notes of the group. Well, group 1 only has 2 black notes. But if you think of them like the 2 left black notes of both groups, it's easy because that's just one visualization. So we're bringing multiple visualizations. You can also see that the white notes are on the right. Now, this is one of the harder ones to visualize because, you just practice this one a fair bit, but it's a little more tricky to visualize. So we want to put a few more memory associations. So you don't press the white notes on the left of the black notes, okay, because we're sharpening, we're going around the circle of fifths clockwise. So when we sharpen a note, we're not pressing the note on the left. That's a memory association you can make. You have all the same black notes from the key of A, we mentioned that. You only need to remember one more, D sharp, yeah. So what happens is to remember the E, you remember the A, and you just remember, that's usually enough. Those two black is a good association. If you remember the black notes, right, and you also remember that we don't press the notes on the white, the only notes left, right, are these two and the E. And of course E's in it because it's the key of E, the white note E. So what we're doing here, we're just not going to rely on muscle memory we need to look and know exactly where all the notes of that scale are. Another memory association is just remember these notes. So you're not going to be pressing that black note there because that's in the middle of here, right? So if you remember E is easy, and you remember just A and B, and then it's just these blacks, right? So sometimes you'll remember just the blacks and then the whites. But we don't want to necessarily remember it in that order, although we will because we play our scales. So the concept is to get different memory associations. So that works with anything in life. If you want to remember something, you usually associate it with something else. And sometimes it only takes one association. Sometimes you need two or three. But if you can associate something with something else, you remember it easier. For instance, if you're trying to remember a name, because names can be tricky, because someone tells you your name and you continue the conversation, you go, what was his name again? Usually if you make the effort to, say, associate that name with someone else, maybe it's a friend of yours in the past. So if I meet someone, I'll say, have I ever known someone like that? And then you go, oh yeah, I used to know this guy in high school. And then you don't forget the name. Anyway, let's continue. Right hand finger placement. Okay, we're up to the right hand finger placement. So if you've seen the other lessons on this series, so we're going through all the 12 keys. So if you've seen the others, you're going to have seen all this before. If you've just jumped into this video, that's fine. They're all individual videos with a hand, with the learning all the scales. So you can just stick with this video to learn this. But if you want to learn another video, you go back. You want to learn the C one. C's easy. It's all the white notes, and you can learn any one you like. Usually, what happens is when you're in this system, when you're starting to learn your scale, you'll start on C, and then you'll go on to the G, and then you go on to the F, and you'll work it that way. And then you'll do one around the right side, the circle of fifth. So you do your D, and then you do your B flat, and so forth. So we sort of go that way, and we go that way, and we work our way around like that. Although you don't have to, but that's just one way you can do it, which I find is better because you're sort of remembering that you need to add one more black note as you go around, and the left you flatten one more note. We've gone through all that in lesson 3, so you can go to lesson 3 and you'll learn all about how to create your scales. All right, so the top row here is going up the scale 2 octave. First 2 hands, so just follow the arrows, and then from right to left on the bottom row, follow the arrows. We're going down the octave, okay? So it's pretty straightforward. The first 2 hands is the first octave up the top. The second 2 hands is the high octave. Then on the bottom row, we've got the high octave first, follow the arrows to the lower octave. Now you want to note I'll just quickly look at that formula. T1, I2, so thumb 1. So if we look at E, right, we know the scale now. So you need to know the scale from lesson 3. So if you're not sure of the scale or how to make the scale, just watch lesson 3 and then come back. So your thumb is on, and I've got chapters, so you can go straight to E. Lesson 3, you can go to the description, the chapter, and go straight to the E. Okay, so we got T1. So these are how the numbers work. So going left to right when we're going up the scale, we read it from right to left when coming down. So T1, I2, M3, and then thumb on 4, right? I5, right on the 5th there. There's the 5th. Middle on 6, ring on 7 and P on 1. Now, we don't have to focus on that formula. That formula is only there for you to work out what the scale is, right? We don't use it as a crutch or anything. All these T1, M2s are all designed to work out your finger numbers. But once you work out your fingers, you visually look down and you just visually note it, right? So the whole system's designed to reduce crutches. So a crutch is something that you're looking at, right? And anything you're looking at can be a crutch. So notation is a crutch. If you're looking at it, eventually you can remember the song. Even chords are a crutch if you're just looking at them. Now, there's nothing wrong with crutches, right? But with this system, we want to reduce the amount of information. So notation, for example, has a lot of information. It's got a lot of timing information, and students are concentrating to get the timing right. This system, we don't even bother about timing because the timing comes naturally. We reduce the crutches. So we just use chords and melody patterns, and the timing is in your head, right? And when you're starting out, you follow the melody through the intervals, and then eventually your ear takes over, and you can get rid of the interval numbers when you're working out melodies. Your right hand just finds it, right? Because it's actually reading in your head the notes, right? And it's not reading like absolute notes like on a staff. It's listening for the relative pitch change. And it knows your finger knows how far to go up and how far to go down. I've gone off track a little bit, but it's all good information anyway. So, and that's what to look forward to if you follow this whole course. So, and we're going to get there as fast as humanly possible if you do the right things and practice the right way, okay? And don't fall into a musical rut. I'm going to do a video on musical ruts and what they are. But you need to do the right thing and always challenge yourself and pace yourself out as well. All right, we're going up right to left. So what we want to note is we want to have a look at the diagram up the top. The arrows mean a swing point. So a swing point is when we land on a finger and we move our hand. In this case, the thumb goes underneath. Now, that's a swing point, right? And it's on the middle finger on the third interval. 1, 2, 3, third interval, okay? That's a swivel point. So we need to remember when we go up, the swing points, which is going to be on the third, right? On the 7th interval, and back on the 3rd interval over here, right? We need to remember those because the reason we just need to remember those and nothing else is because we can keep on going, right? With our fingers, we need to remember which finger to stop on and swing on, right? So we swing on the 3rd, right? Right, now, we can only land on our thumb. We're not going to land on our index, land on our thumb. And now we have to remember which is the next swing point because we're just rolling up the scale. Now, you already know the scale. You've worked that out, right? So we're rolling up the scale. Now we're going to swing on the ring finger. Come back to the thumb and then go up the scale. And it's the middle again we're swinging. And then we just finish the scale off till we get high. And coming down, we go all the way to our thumb, right? We are swinging on the thumb, but we don't have to remember we're swinging on the thumb because there's nowhere else to go. We've come down the scale, landed on our thumb. We need to know which finger we're going to land on because we could land on the ring or the 2nd, right? And when you're playing a song, you could land on, you could do anything. But with these exercises, we're landing on the middle. Now on the thumb again, right? We've come to the end, so we've got to remember which to land on. It's going to be the ring finger, not the middle. Now, this is where you can make a mistake a lot. You can go to the middle again, and then you get caught up, right? So it's the ring, back to the thumb again, and then it's the middle to finish up, okay? And then this is how you're going to practice it. Middle, ring, middle, and finish up. Coming back, middle, ring, and middle and finish up, okay? So that's the right hand. And don't go any faster than that because we also want to hear the intervals when we're playing them, but we've got exercises to do that as well coming up. All right, let's get on the left hand. Okay, left hand finger placement for the key signatures C, G, D, E. So the left hand and the right hand, all this placement works for all these keys, but we're just looking at E, okay? So again, going up, top row of hands, coming back. And again, we have middle, ring, middle. But the only difference now is when we're going up, it's the landing fingers, right, we need to concentrate on, and coming down, it's the swing fingers. On the previous diagram, if I just go back, you can see going up was the swing fingers and coming down was the landing. Now this is the opposite. So with the left hand, we're going to put it on E. So I'll put it down here, right? And we're going to go all the way to the 5, right? All the way to... Now we've run out of fingers now, so we're going to swing, but we need to know which finger to swing on. Is it going to be a 4th, a 3, or 2? It's going to be the middle. I said actually finger numbers. I come from a traditional background, so I've still got them in my head. I've tried to be getting rid of them for a while. Here we go. So it's going to be the middle finger, right? We land on. So we go all the way to the thumb. Now it's going to be the ring finger, then the middle finger, and we finish up. Okay, that's the left hand. So coming back, right, we swing now on the middle finger, come down. Swing on the ring finger, and then it's going to be the middle again. Middle swing, and we finish up the scale coming down. Okay? So when we practice, we're going to go middle, ring. Oh, sorry. This is one place I always stuff up too myself. So what I did then, do you see what I did? I went middle straight away. You got to remember, coming on the left, that you go right to your thumb, right? Not middle here, because remember, we're not swinging anywhere here, right? There's nothing you can do here, right? Because we're going up. So you have to go to your thumb. Now the first swing point is that middle is there. So once you get past that, middle, ring, middle, and we finish up, right? When we look at, excuse me, when we look here, we can see that, okay, it uses all the black notes, and we have group 1 and 2. It's the rightmost white note of group 1 and 2. So here we go. It's those notes, which is E and B. Of course it's going to be B because it's the B major scale. So it's just that E you got to just remember. So when you're mucking around, and right, one of the tricks that I'll teach you as we go on, right, is there's a lot about memory in this course on how you use your memory to achieve results faster. And here's an example. So I want to play something and stay in the B. I'm going to look down at the keyboard and note that that E note, right, is in the key of B. So when I'm mucking around, I'm going to look at the E note, and then I'm going to... So I'm going to stick to the black notes, and then I also know the B is in there, so I'm going to scan the keyboard and see where all the B's are. There's a B. And then, I'm going to look for that E again. I'm safe. So the idea is you make the music flow. You make it flow. And that's one of the training exercises we'll be doing down the track, is just make it all flow. And then scanning the keyboard for that white note. We know it's the E there. And then we have them, again, we scan for that B note. We find it first, and then we play it, and we come back to the rest black notes. So I've got a lot of these tips and tricks throughout this course, and I throw them a little bit in these videos too, a little tip here, a little tip there. But we're going to go through them in the structured course, okay? Okay, so the two white notes on the right side of each group, yeah, forming a nice symmetry. There is a bit of a nice symmetry look about that. Now, the newly added black note is A sharp, okay, right, which is that 7th. The minor 7th turned to major 7th, right? And you know that's the newly added note because it's the 7th. If that's the B scale we're learning now, the B has a 7 in it, right? The Western major scale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And that's the new note we added. So the previous key had, right, the 4 black notes, right, key of E. So we have all those keys are exactly the same, and then we have one extra one. So another way to remember these is, if you know the order, you're going to remember, and you've already learnt the previous ones, that's why you do it in order, right? it saves you a lot of time, because if you know E and you've remembered it, well, B is just one more black note to remember. Right? So it's not hard. It takes a bit of dedication, but you remember them eventually. You should find this scale easier to remember. Right hand finger placement. So this right hand placement works for C, G, D, A, but we're only looking at B. Okay, so if you've seen this before, you'll get the idea. So the top row is going up 2 octaves and the bottom row is coming down 2 octaves. Okay. The formula on the bottom shows you where your fingers are, but once you know where the fingers are on the intervals, you're going to be just visualizing it. Okay. So we're going to start on the thumb on the 1, right, which is the B, right? And we're going to note those swing points going up and landing points coming down. The swing points with a little arrow underneath is 3, 7, 3. Let's look how that works. So middle is our swing, right? So it's a middle finger. So we just go up 1, 2, 3, third interval, not the fingers 1, 2, 3, the intervals 1, 2, 3. Swing, land on the thumb on E, right? So middle, ring, land on B with a thumb now, middle, and then finish up the scale on B. Coming back, we go to the thumb, middle, ring, middle. Now you'll notice that the middle finger in some of these scales is associated with the 2 notes. It all depends where the scale starts, and the ring can be associated with the 3 black notes in this scale. That's another memory association you can make. Now, so you're remembering that middle, ring, middle going up, and then the swing going up and landing coming down, middle, ring, middle. And you just practice that. Middle, ring, middle, and finish up the scale. Now coming down, we come all the way to the thumb and then go middle, ring, middle. Okay. And I never want you to play scales really fast. Right? I want you to go slow. Because we're not just learning on muscle memory, right? Muscle memory is the last memory association we do in this whole system when we're learning things. We're gonna commit things to muscle memory, but we need to understand first. So understanding comes first, muscle memory comes last. Right? And we actually try to break muscle memory. If you've learnt a song just with muscle memory, right, you want to understand the song. So you can test that, your understanding of the song, by going very slowly and maybe stopping and then continuing, or even picking up the song at any point. Right? That's how you know you haven't relied on muscle memory. So understand first. Right? Muscle memory has a lot of good uses, right? And we're going to be utilising it a lot. But most people who learn piano will just learn with the muscle memory, and that's it. And a lot of teachers just say muscle memory, muscle memory, muscle memory. I'm probably the only teacher in the world that tells you you should break your muscle memory. It doesn't mean if you've learned a song, forget about your muscle memory. What it means when I say that is that, do you know the song without the muscle memory? So go really slowly so you're no longer relying on muscle memory. Right? Or jump in sections of the song. There's 2 ways to break your muscle memory. And test yourself. How well do you actually know what you're playing? All right, let's continue. Left hand, the same thing, but when we go up, we're looking at the landing points, 5 on the intervals 5, 2, and 5, and the swing points on the intervals coming down is 5, 2, and 5. So this time we don't have our pinky, so this one is hand placement, only works for B, only works with a B. If we used our pinky, right, on starting on B, our fingers would get caught up when we get to the E and the black, and it'll be very awkward, right? So we start with a ring finger on B, okay, and we move down to our thumb, right? So because we go to the thumb, there's nowhere else to go. We need to remember, okay, what to land on now. Now the first one's going to be the ring. So it's going to be ring, middle, ring going up, and ring, middle, ring going down. So it's different now. It's not middle, ring, middle. It's ring, middle, ring. So we're starting on the second to the thumb. Ring, middle, ring. And coming back, it's ring, middle, ring. And when we come back, we're landing on the same finger. All right, this is an extremely easy one to remember because you can see that it uses all the white keys except one, and that's the B flat. So group 2, it's the rightmost black note, okay? We don't press, when we're going around the circle of fifths now anti-clockwise, so we're going through the F, B flat, E flat, A flat, D flat, G flat. So we don't press, if we've got a black note, right? We don't press the note on the right, which is the white note. That's another useful memory association to make, right? When we're going around the circle of fifths in the flats, we don't press the notes on the right. When we go clockwise and we're sharpening the sevenths, we don't press the note on the left. So in the key of A, for instance, see how we got C sharp? Just knowing that because we've got sharpened notes, we don't press notes on the left. That can be very helpful when you're in your real-time playing, knowing not to press that. Right? So that we create a whole lot of memory associations when we're trying to learn something. Right? Usually you only need 2 or 3, but I've just tried to list as many as I can, and whatever works for you. So the F major scale uses almost all the white notes except B flat, okay, the rightmost. So we said all that. You don't play the white note on the right. All right, so the newly added note is B flat. All right, so that's pretty straightforward, easy to visualise, okay? Now, the right-hand finger placement for F. So this has its own finger placement because we have B flat, and if you look at my hands here, we can't swing our thumb under on the third anymore up to B flat, right? So we have to go to the fourth. So if we note the top diagram there, so the right hand's, just follow the arrows, we're going up the key going up, and down the key coming back, up the scale, sorry, or the key. So we swing on 4, we swing on 7, the interval 4, not the number 4, and we swing on 7. We don't have 7 fingers, we've only got 5 on one hand. So we swing on the interval 7 and 4, all right? So first interval is going to be the ring finger, ring. So we see on the bottom we have ring, middle, ring. Ring. And we end on the ring. Notice we end on the ring, right? But because that's 1 octave coming down, and then we're coming back on the 4. But when we go up, ring, middle, back, see the thumb? Ring, and we finish up. And when we finish up on the ring. We don't keep on going, right? So we do have to know where to finish, right? But we can hear that too. You know, we can hear when it finishes. It has a nice resolution sound, resolving sound. So we don't have to, make a point of remembering to finish on the ring because we can just hear it anyway. But we do have to make a point to land right on the ring coming down, right? So we start on the ring here. Ring, middle, ring. Okay? And again, we got the numbers 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2, 3, 1. When we're learning numbers, we want to learn them instantly. And that will come in time. You'll know where all the fourths are. You'll know where all the fifths are instantly on the piano. I'm doing videos for them. You're going to know how to find every single interval so you can create every chord without relying on the chord charts, all the chord charts with the finger positions and all that, with all the notes. You can toss that away. Excuse me. You're going to learn how to create chords in real time. Okay, now we've got the left hand. Okay. Oh, all right. 1 second. Okay. He forgot. I forgot to include him in the video, and he's just really getting upset now. All right. Okay, okay, I've got you here. He's here now. Say hello. All right, let's get moving. All right, just be there. Okay, let's get moving. Now, left hand, okay, even though, so the hand placement for the left hand is the same as C, G, D, A, and F. Although you've played it on the other ones, right, and go down. It's still difficult to do on a new scale because you've got to visualize it, right? So even though, you know, C is, we can play that, right? And coming down, you know, we can play all this. Because you're on F now, you need to remember that you've got a B flat there now, okay? And you look down and it's a re-visualization. So left hand, we can see that we go all the way to the thumb, right? And we got middle, ring, middle again. So we're going to swing on the middle, right? Then the ring, middle, and we come back down. Middle, and emphasize it, go middle. Middle, ring, middle, and come back down, okay? So again, we see the top row is going up, follow the arrows, and the bottom row is coming down, okay? And then we have to also say the numbers too, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But try to mix it up because saying it in order doesn't really teach you too much because we all know how to count to 7. 1, 3, 2, 4, 5, 5, 3, 4, 2, 1. So we're learning to instantly know where they are, the numbers, okay? We're going to be doing the interval numbers. We're going to be doing a lot of intervals, right? Because the whole language we use is intervals. So, middle, ring, up there, B flat, middle, middle, ring, middle, and we roll back. So we've got to remember that to get that B flat in there. All right, let's move on. Now look at I can look at that straight away, the nice symmetry. I see two groups, group 1 and 2. I see the two black notes are on the right side of each group, okay? That's a good memorization. Right there. Okay, so, and we don't play of course because we're now going around the circle fifth anti-clockwise. We're looking at all the flats. If we flatten something, it means we're not playing the note on the right. That's another memory association you can make, okay? Right, so we don't play that. Now, because when we're trying to find in real time our scale, it's useful to know we don't play that because when we're sharpening, we don't play the note on the left, right? Because we sharpen. When we're flattening, we don't play the note on the right. Another nice memory association you can make. You can think of it, the key uses all the white notes except B flat and E flat. And then on the left side of the two groups, so the 2 white notes on the left and the 3 white notes on the left over of group 2, right? Eventually what happens is you commit this in your mind and you can close your eyes and just visualize and say the scale, right? So that's another important thing. So the visualization of scales, when you close your eyes, you want to be able to see the scale, then you're going to read the notes, B flat, C, D, E flat, F, G, A and B flat. And you close your eyes and you go backwards, and you visualize it first. So you go B flat, F, G, sorry, I'm not doing that right. So we're B flat, A, G, F, then E flat. Then go slower. If you make a mistake, you just go slower. E flat, D, C, B flat. It's not a speed thing. Remember, we don't want to make mistakes because we're just learning to make mistakes. So to remedy that, we always go slow. The value of not making a mistake over making a mistake, you have to correct that mistake because it goes into your muscle memory, right? Your muscle memory, you can't help developing it. And in this system, we're trying to break it all the time. So you're not relying on it. And then once you know what you're doing, then you rely on it, right? But you've also got all this information as a backup. Anyway, let's go straight into. All right, so the finger positions, top row, we're going up the scale, bottom row, we're going down, just follow the arrows. Again, we always have swing going up, landing coming down. We're going to note the swivel points on the intervals. So on the middle finger there on the 4, the ring on the 1 and the middle on the 4. again, it's going to be middle, ring, middle going up. On the swing points, the landing point's going to be middle, ring, middle. And we've got the formula there. So on the formula, we've got index 1. So we're going to start on the index. Now we have to start on the index because, well, sometimes you do have a choice, right? This key, you just actually do have a little bit of a choice because you could, if you wanted to, but it's not as comfortable, right? You could start on your thumb, but it's sort of not as comfortable. And I've always played this, and I've started on my index. But if you get used to playing it on your thumb, right, you can do that. But let's start with our index. Index. So we've got a swing point down on that too, but we don't need to sort of memorize that, because when we start on our index, it's a natural thing to go down to the thumb, and you're obviously going to swing. There's no need to remember that. Now we're on the 4. We're going to remember to swing on the 4 because we could be going like that. So we've got to remember we swing on the 4. So again, middle. Now we swing on the ring. So middle, ring, middle, middle, ring, middle. Okay? So that's what we're doing with our right hand. And again, we're going to go 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 2, 3. There's the 4 there. There's the 1. What we need to also do is, and this will come in time, you don't need to learn everything with your scales, like visualize where all the intervals are instantly. That will come with the more songs you practice. This one is getting your hands moving, right? But it's good to know where the second is, because visually, if you go back and look at the intervals video, but you'll be able to eventually know that's the 4. You'll know that's a 4th interval there. I'm going to show you how to find all the 4ths. First, we're going to start with the 5ths, how to find them almost instantly on the piano, all the power chords. So I'm going to write a video in just power chords, which are your 5ths, right? And we call them power chords not because they're particularly powerful, it's because they're ambiguous. It means a power chord is a 1, 5, 1. It means the character's very open to create other things. That's why they're called power chords, not because they're particularly powerful. That is powerful though, to be able to do that. Anyway, so let's do the left. We're still on the right hand, okay? So we're going up. So let's do the left hand now. Okay, for the left hand, we have this hand placement. It only works with this key, B flat. And it's a little trickier to learn. But again, the process is we focus on the ring, middle, ring. So going up, again, we got the landing points coming down the swing. And so we're looking at the intervals going up on the ring, middle, ring is 6, 3, 6. And coming down, it's always going to be the same too. It's the same with all keys. They have the same intervals going up and down. But coming down, and the same finger position numbers, but coming down, we're on the swing point 6, 3, 6. So first of all, we go straight to the 5. Now you might find other ways to play this scale too, but I'm just showing you this way now. I think this one's the best way. But ring, middle, ring, ring, middle, ring. Okay, and that's how we're going to play it. When you get stuck, so the trick is to remember, right, our landing points, because when you're trying to get this started, instead of going ring, might hit the middle, and then you get yourself caught up. Right? If you get the wrong finger when you're moving up, you can get it caught up, right? So that's why we emphasize that ring, middle, ring, because they're the most important points in moving up and down the scale, so you don't get your fingers caught up. Right? Ring. Emphasize it in your head. Even when you emphasize it like that, You make it stand out. When you make something stand out, you remember it easier. If you're just going in the same tone, like ring. So if you're just going, ring, middle, ring, like that, it won't go in your memory as good as just going ring. Just emphasize it, and you can even play that louder. Ring, middle, ring. So coming back here, right? If I landed coming, say on my ring, if I was on the middle and I'm at the end, that's real awkward to do. That's like bring your thumb up there is awkward, right? I mean, it is possible, but it's very awkward. And when you're playing songs, you want to be able to have the nicest and easiest finger positionings, and it's all about going from one chord to the next. You use the fingers that will allow you to get to the next chord when you're in a song sequence easier. All right, so what can we see here? The E-flat major scale has the first two white notes. So there's a little bit of symmetry with the white notes there. So group 1 and 2, you can see the two white notes. The black notes are on the right. So they're on the right side because remember, we're going around the circle of fifths anti-clockwise and we're flattening notes. So we don't play the white notes to the right of the black notes. So E flat, we don't play E because we're going around the circle of fifths. So when we see, and this helps you as a memory association in real time, and you're playing, you want to know where the white notes are, when you're playing. Now this is sort of one of the harder ones to remember because the reason is because you've got sort of 3 white blacks and 4 whites, so they're sort of evenly spaced, the amount. Like for when we have all blacks, for instance, that's easy to remember because you know it's all black and then there's just a couple of whites to remember. But here you've got 4 whites to remember and 3 blacks. So we just look at our symmetry. And of course we don't visualise it the same way we're going to play it. We're learning all the notes of the scale. Because we don't play, when we play songs, we don't play songs like this, do we? We don't play scales, unless sometimes you can run up and down scales, sure, but you need to find notes instantly when you're in real time. So you want to find your key or your notes. So when I start with, say, this, and I'm sort of improvising with this key, I would focus first. We're going to do a lot more of this, what I'm going to show you just quickly now. But you're going to focus on, say, 3 notes, right? Just the 3 black notes. So you're learning the key. Right? Eventually you'll learn it visually. So you'll start with these 3 black notes and you just muck around with them while you're improvising. And then you'll note these 2 notes, okay? Which is the F and the G, right? Which is the 2 and the 3. 2 and 3. 1, 2, 3. There's the 4th. 3 and 2. And then you'll come down like that. And then once you're sort of comfortable doing that, then you'll note these 2 notes and this pattern. So it's all about patterns and breaking it up. Right? You want to break up your visualization when you're visualizing these things. You don't want to just learn things in serial manner, like your brain. Your brain, as is a serial, and we've mentioned this a few times, remembers things in a serial fashion. Because that's how our memories work. We can just think of something and it's like, when you want to remember something, as long as you remember the beginning of it, the rest fills in your memory. You just need to trigger it off. And so when we're learning things serially, that's how we learn. That's how muscle memory works. It's a serial thing. That's good for playing scales and learning songs with muscle memory, but it doesn't help you to be an improviser. You can learn songs with muscle memory, but to be an improviser is a different skill altogether. And to be an improviser, you need to break that muscle memory. You can't be relying on it all the time. Now, I'm not saying it's completely useless. It's very useful, muscle memory. But you can't, if you're just going to rely on it and that's all you're going to do, well, that's all you'll be able to do. You'll just be able to play a song. Now, you can be very good at playing a song, And when you see those fantastic players that will play very fast, they usually play fast, and they play fast and they play well. They're relying on muscle memory. When you play a song fast, that's pretty much all muscle memory, because you don't have time to think. That's why when you play slowly, you do have time to think. Right? So anyway, let's move on. There's some good tips there. All right. So we've seen this before, that going up the scale is the top hands. Follow the arrows. Coming down the scale 2 octaves is the bottom hands. So we can visually see where our fingers are placed. And again, we have the formula below there, index, thumb. But the only thing we really have to sort of focus on is the ring, middle, ring. Okay? Because that's where we do things, where we swing. So I'll give you an example here. You've seen this before, but for new people coming in to this video, I recommend you see some of the other ones as well. But anyway, we start on E flat, so we're starting on the second. So because we can go all the way with our fingers, we need to know where to stop to swing. All right. So that's on B flat. Sorry, we're on E flat. So we need to know where to swing. Right. We're going to swing on our ring finger. Right. Because we've got these 2 black notes here now, so we have to go right to our ring. On that B flat where I was just a second ago, you see you stop on your middle finger because you need to swing now to there. But on E flat, you stop on your ring finger because you have to swing. So you've got to know where to stop to swing. So that's why we remember ring, middle, ring. So if you remember me, ring, middle, swing again, because we can keep on going, right? So we stop, swing, middle, ring, right, again, which is the same as the first octave, the second octave, the ring, thumb again. And when we land, see how we're landing the high one, right, is on the middle finger, okay? So we start on the second. And we go ring, middle, ring. Now this is an easier one to remember because you'll get used to this because you've used this in the previous key, this movement with the second, this nimble 3-finger movement. We'll be doing some 3-finger lessons. We're doing stuff with 3 fingers, and because those 3 fingers can be very nimble because they're the stronger fingers. They're the strongest fingers on your hand. So we do this movement. So we start on the index, thumb. So we're swinging on the thumb, but we don't really have to remember that because we're starting on the index. There's nowhere else you can go anyway. You've got to remember that. Okay, so that's ring, middle, ring, and you just end the scale. And the reason why I was going to say this was the easier to remember, because you can see the black notes. So this is another memory association you can make. So you got 3 black notes there, and you've got your ring finger. They're so the black notes in this scale are associated with the ring finger, and the 2 black notes are the middle finger. So you got 3 fingers here. So it's the 2 black notes here, and you got the 3 fingers. So it's the ring here. So there's these little memory associations that your brain can make, the way you think about things. And the more memory associations, you find that this course focuses a lot on creating multiple memory associations, and we don't rely on muscle memory. I think if you watched a few videos, it's not saying we don't completely rely on muscle memory. We keep that as the last resort, right? And a lot of the times, when you're learning a song, you might bring the muscle memory up front. So you're playing with muscle memory, but you have all the others as a backup. Right? So if you're playing a song from the same way all the time, right? It might be a sheet of classical music, and you want to play it because your teacher will smack you on the hand if you don't play it correctly. Well, then you're relying on muscle memory, right? But you still have the intervals as a backup, right? And they will help you play, they'll help you learn the song quicker too. By understanding, it will help you learn the song quicker. So right hand. And again, we want to note the intervals here. So we got 1, we got the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, right? I do it on B flat again. I just did my B flat yesterday. I'm doing about one lesson a day because I've got so much lined up, and I take it all from my book. So I've got endless lessons I can create all from my book, at least 100 lessons, easy. So I'm getting all these out of the way first, so just to have these as a reference, all these scales. So when we go to learn things, I can direct you to them. All right, so index. Now, see how I'm going this fast? That's probably too fast for you to go when you're starting out. That's a nice speed when you're comfortable with it, but that's all muscle memory, right? That's muscle memory. But what we've got to do is we've got to understand, we've got to go slower and make sure middle, ring. So we swing on the ring, not the middles. So we look at the bottom, ring, middle, ring going up, ring, middle, ring coming down. Ring, middle, ring. And we finish up, and then we go ring, middle, and we finish down. I forgot to say ring, but we land on the ring there. It doesn't matter if you forget to say it, as long as your fingers are moving. You know, when you forget to say it, it means you lost your concentration on it, but your muscle memory took over. And that's what happens in songs all the time. You know, sometimes your muscle memory will take over. Sometimes you'll think, then you won't need to think. That type of thing. It just comes in and out when you need it. So, all right. So that's the right hand. I think that's pretty straightforward. The right hand. Now the left hand placement. So all these work, which is nice with E flat, A flat, and D flat. Even though they all work for the same key, they're different notes. So when you're visualizing it, your brain makes a new connection. So it doesn't mean because you can play E flat well, you're going to be able to play A flat and D flat well, because the notes are different and your brain gets a bit confused. So you still have to learn them just individually. So we start on the 1, right, which is the root note, the middle finger, okay? And we go to the 3. So now you'll notice with this particular one, we have an extra hand, right? So we've got a swing point at that thumb straight away. So we actually got to remember, we still remember ring, middle, ring. But it's a bit like when we did up here on the right hand where we have that extra thumb. I think we had an extra hand on the previous one. Oh yeah, no. I'm thinking of G flat. No, this is fine. Ignore that. But yeah, that's still valid what I said. So E flat, there's our thumb, right? So the first thing we need to know is where we land on, because we could land on the middle or the ring, right? So we're going to land on the ring. Right, now we're going to looking at the top, swinging on the thumb, right? Now we're going to know where to land on, so we're going to land on the ring. So, land on the middle, right? So we need to land on the middle because we're on the 2 notes here, 2 black notes associated with the middle finger, and the 3 black notes associated with the ring finger. So another memory association. And then we end on the index. Now you could end on the 3, you could even end on the 4. Okay, so let's visualizing it straight away. We can see we got some symmetry going on here. We've got 2 black notes, and they're on the right side of group 1s and 2s, right? So that's the first thing we're going to remember of this. We're going to remember these black notes here, and then we just got 3 white notes to remember. Okay, so it's going to be C, F, and G, right? F, G, F, G, C. So we can say, all right, it's the left white notes. It's the left white notes, right? So, on group 2, we play the two white notes there in the 1. And again, we don't play the left notes on the white notes on the right side of the B flat, because we're flattening white notes to get to the black notes. So whenever you are going around in the flats, and we're playing the black notes, it's good to remember when we hit those black notes, we're not in a major key that we not playing this note. We're in a flat key where we don't play the notes on the right. Now that's a very useful in real time memory association you can make, because you can, when you're playing and mucking around. So I'm going to stick to the black notes, right? I'm just going to ignore this note, and then I know I'm going to come down to the C. So I'm going to focus on the white notes I'm going to hit when I'm improvising, right? It's going to be the C, and it's also going to be these two notes, right? F and G. And of course, the previous key, right? Knowing the order of the previous key. And I'll show you a little trick here to find the order. You just count up in fourths, right? We're going to count up. So if we start on C, right? And we can go either a fourth up, right? So you should know all this by now around the circle of fifths, right? Right? So you just look at a fourths to say it. So it's, and you can visualize it in your head too, you know. So if you want to learn the order, which is you need to do, is very useful. So you go C, F, B flat, E flat, A flat, D flat, and G flat, right? And I was looking at the notes and counting in my head, and then you can just remember it with muscle memory, you know. But it's better to not try to remember it with muscle memory, because that fails you. You're better off just closing your eyes and just looking at C, F, and this helps you a lot when you do things like this, right? When you stop relying on muscle memory, and so C, F, and we got B flat, we got E flat, and I'm just going up in fourth. So we got, where are we? E flat, we got A flat, we got D flat, we got G flat, right? So we start with C, F, and so this is the order around the circle, fifth ascending clockwise, right? B flat, E flat, A flat. See, it's going up in fourth. There's the fourth, right? D flat and G flat, right? It's just going up in fourths. All right, let's continue. Move on. Okay, let's get stuck into the right hand finger placement. Okay, so this is a nice one, right? So we've seen all this before again. Again, we're going to focus on the ring, the middle going up. Okay. So the first finger is going to be R, ring, index 1. So we're going to start on the 1, and we're going to. Now, going up, we're going to go first middle. So again, with the right hand, the middle finger is associated with the two black notes, right? And we ring, and the ring finger is associated with the three black notes. So that's another memory association you can make. So middle, ring, went to there, middle, and finish up the scale. And then middle, because two black notes, right? Ring, middle. Okay, and that's how we're going to do that one. So I'm not explaining the swing points now and all that, because you've seen that in the previous videos, right? And I think the time you've come to A flat, you would have started on a lower video anyway. So let's just move pretty fast through this. Okay. So with the left hand, you can see this hand placement works on E flat, A flat, and D flat. So we're just looking at the A flat. So again, we're going to concentrate on that ring, middle ring. So now we're on the ring finger is associated with the two black notes. So this is a bit different than the other ones, is the two black notes, and the middle finger is associated with the three black notes. We have to start on the ring up here so we can clean up all these notes, so we can swing over to our third middle finger, right? Middle finger on the 1, and we got to clean up to that C note there, and we got to swing. That's why we have the middle there. So, but again, we focus ring, middle, ring, ring, middle, ring, ring, middle, ring, and back. Okay. Okay, so visualising the D flat major scale it's quite an easy one to visualise, because it uses all the black notes. It's similar to the key of B uses all the black notes. Key of D flat uses all black notes, and also the key of G flat uses all the black notes. So, and this one is quite symmetrical. Group 1 and Group 2. It's the first white note on the left of both those groups, right? So first white note, right? So it's quite an easy one to improvise over, the key of D flat. And similar is with the key of G flat as well, and we're going to get to that. And the key of, similar to the key of B when we looked at it. Because, if you could just remember the notes, the white notes, there's 2 notes to remember in these keys. Because you remember all black notes, that's easy, and you just got to remember the 2 white notes. So visualization, a way to visualize your scale. And as you see, the way you visualize it isn't the way that you play it. You don't start on the F, you're starting on D flat. But visualizing is a different thing than playing it with muscle memory. Okay, right hand finger placement for the D flat. So let's look at that. So again, we've got the swing points going up, landing points going down. And we're going to focus on the ring, the middle and the ring, okay, on this one. Going up, ring, middle, ring, coming down, ring, middle, ring. And the formula's down there. So we're going to start on our index on 1. Okay, so this is D flat. So it's not a difficult one, this one. So because we've got the 3rd finger now is associated with the 2 black notes, which is nice. And did I say 3rd finger? That comes from classical days. So the middle finger is associated with the 2 black notes, right? And the ring finger, right, is associated with the 3 black notes, okay? So, but we're going to focus on ring, middle, ring. So now you'll notice when it's, even though we're on the index here, right? And we are swinging on the first middle up there, right? But we're not going to note that. Right? We don't need to note that because it is the start, and it's a very natural feeling to come down there. The first swing point's going to be the ring, right? And then it's going to be middle, ring, and then we do that flip there, so ring. So ring is associated with the 3 black notes, right? Group 2, associated with group 2. And then the 3 associated with the 2 black notes in this particular case. Stay in key. Then middle. Okay, so when we practice it, we just stop there. So D flat. So when we're starting on the index, so we go ring. Go slower too, because that's a bit too fast, because you need to hear it as well. Let me put my levels up a little bit. I think I've got one of my speakers out, but that doesn't matter. That won't matter for you. Ring, middle, ring, ring, middle, ring. Okay, so that's the right hand. So let's get to the left hand. So we start on the middle finger, D flat. Ring, so it's a landing point now, right? Ring. Again, the ring is associated with the 3 black notes, which is nice. And like the right hand, so that's nice. Ring. Middle, ring. Ring, middle, ring. Okay, ring, middle, ring. Right. This is a very easy one to visualize. So have a look at this. It's all the black notes. So just like the previous scale D flat, all the black notes, and the key of B uses all the black notes, it's only the white notes we need to remember. And this is even particularly easy because all the white notes are in group 2. So there's no group 1 white notes at all. So, and if you have a look, they happen to be on the outer ones. So they're right next to the outer black notes. They're right next to it on either side. So going outwards like this. Right? So that's very visually easy to find. And when you're improvising, this is quite an easy key to improvise over. I think it's actually easier than improvising in C. Maybe not, but I think it's easier because we're missing notes. So you can, if you stick to the black, right? Even if you're not sure of what you're doing, you can stick to the black keys and you're in key, right? All the black notes and you'll be in key. And then what you do is, as you're improvising, you focus on the key you want to hit, and if it's going to be an F, so you just keep it flowing, and if it's F, then you go, And you go, oh, I'm on a G, that's a 7, that's a major 7. Isn't that beautiful? I'll come back here. And how about here? That's a 4. I'm on the G still. And there's the minor third with a 4th there. So you focus on, I'm going to show you this in some lessons on how to keep it flowing and how to find the notes quickly in real time. It's very exciting because even if you don't have much knowledge, like theoretical knowledge, you can do that exercise and you'll sound pretty good. But this is a very academic approach, as well as a very practical approach. We bring it together with this. So the theory here is only the theory you'll need to get you playing, not random theory that you can't use in your playing. And my book's focused on just that. So it's a very focused course and a very structured course. Let's get on with it. Okay, now we're going to look at the right-hand finger placement. So the top row of hands are going up, the bottom row of hands are coming down, okay? And we're going to focus on, again, the swing going up, landing, coming down, and we've got 6, 3, 6. We do have we have a swing on 3, 6, 3, 6, 3, 6, but we're not going to write ring, middle. That'll be too confusing. It will be too many. And the first one we don't have to worry about because it can only go to the pinky, right? It's not a hard one to remember. You swing on your ring there. So we don't have to worry about that. What you've got to do is you remember the first middle point. So there's the middle there. Ring, middle, ring, middle. Okay, and then we roll back. And emphasize it at 2 when you're going up. Middle, right? Ring, middle, ring, middle, ring. Actually, I said ring coming down, but that's fine. I mean, that's fine. Middle ring, because there is one last swing point, but don't worry about that. You've said it twice. You don't really need to say it. Okay, let's go to the next one. Left hand placement, key of G. Okay, so the left hand we start on our ring, so left ring 1. Right. And with this key, you've got the middle fingers associated with the 2 black notes, and the ring fingers with the 3 black notes on both hands, right? And it's both middle, ring, middle. So it's middle, ring, middle on both. Okay, so that's why we don't want to worry about that first middle, because we want to make this as symmetrical as possible if we can. Middle, ring, middle, and both middle, ring, middle. Very easy to remember. So we've got ring 1. So the first is the middle there. You see the middle? And on the right, when we get to the right hand, we're going to have a middle there too. Middle. It's a bit like the D flat. It's going to be very similar, and the rings will be here. Rings, and middles. You'll see when we get there. So left hand, middle, ring, middle, whoop, middle, ring, middle. So again, middle, ring, middle, ring, middle. Now, when we're also doing this, just note how quickly they come up. So we've got a middle here, right? We've got a middle, right? And then where's our next ring? It's going to be a ring there, right? So let's join them together now.